Lord Allah, right now the Howard by Shimmy Howard Shah, Mashiach, one Maki by Shimmy Howard, Yash, Thumb, Water, Bible, Ball, upon Yashua. Some honor to the apostles, pillars, and bishops, my great men, stone teachers, David, to the men out there teaching the light, right doctrine, and city, Shalom. Today we're going to get into the crisis at the border, so called. Man, this is a classic case of border out of chaos. They've been doing this ain't the first time they did this. Now, this shows you a couple of things. It shows you that in this day and age, in the wrong hands, the pen is mightier than the sword. Now, all this is coming about just because they forgot, well, Biden forgot to sign and extend Title 42, Title 42, I think, something like that, which closes the border. Now, how is it legal? You know, they can make anything legal or illegal whenever they want to at any given time. So when this thing was in effect, nobody come across the border. But now that it has expired, now it's cool for everybody to come across. See what I'm saying? Just because something is legal doesn't mean it's righteous. Because these people that's coming across this border will be used to create chaos. Because think about it, they're projecting what, around 700,000 to 1,000,000 people coming across the border. Now, when you look at that, when you think about that, and then you take into consideration that, number one, food and water is going to be scarce already, but then you got 700,000 to 1,000,000 more to provide water for and feed. Not to mention that they are destroying food processing plants. So food is going to get real scarce. Now, once these people get here, they're already coming in droves. It's going to be a while. And then all of a sudden, after the resources of government resources run out, whatever, that's when the chaos going to start because these people going to eat. They're not just going to sit back and starve, right? And the government has already pledged to take care of these people. Now, how could that be possible when you claim that you're running out of money, but yet you're going to take on a 700,000 to 1,000,000 more miles to feed? Order out of chaos. They want this. Now, I said this time and time and time again. If y'all haven't watched that movie Red Dawn, now is the time so you will know what's really coming because they have already seen Chinese people, the Moabites, they're fighting age, and they emphasize that coming across the border, which they're going to be armed later. See what I'm saying? Now, let's get a couple scriptures. This is Isaiah chapter 24, verse 12. In the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. See? And that Amos 8 and 11 about to come to pass too, family of the word, because Esau getting tired of pretending to be a nice guy, and he gonna get tired of ignoring the fact that we calling him out, we putting him on blast, so we just gonna shut down the internet, and that's when that family of the word will come in, Amos 8 and 11, and it reads, "Behold, the days come," said the Lord Yahweh, "that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor thirst of water, but hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh." Now, those famines are coming, but food and water also doesn't the scripture. This one specifically talking about the famine of the word. Now, this is Sirach chapter 14, verse 7. And it reads, "And if he do it good, he do it unwillingly. And at last he will declare his wickedness." Now, he claimed to be this philanthropist. He helping out all these people. They didn't ask for our help. Matter of fact, these people were invited here. See what I'm saying? See how it's set up. These people were invited here, and they put billions of dollars aside to get these people here. They got charter buses in the whole nine, taking them to whatever major city they want to go to and just drop them off. Now, and then on top of that, if they do something to your car, I mean, these people are in people's yards and everything, but you can't do nothing to them. See what I'm saying? You can't touch them. It's just a matter of time before chaos kicks off. Now, let's get this video real quick, show you what I'm talking about. It says Biden says border will be chaotic for a while when Title 42 ends. No, it's not going to, it's going to grow in chaotic status. Now watch this. Now, all these mayors, these major cities inviting these people under orders of the White House, right? But watch, when stuff get bad, watch, they call it a crisis. This is a created crisis. Order out of chaos. Let's go.
Border. Later today, the Biden administration will roll out sweeping new border rules for anyone seeking asylum. This is a big shift in U.S. immigration policy, particularly from a Democratic president. The new rule requires migrants who cross the southern border without authorization to prove that they asked for protection in a third country. If they can't do so, they could be banned from the U.S. for 5 years and face a felony charge. The new rule replaces.
Now, that don't even make sense. Why even invite them here if you're going to put them through all this? See what I'm saying? And at the border, another thing that happened, they found an 18-year-old, not an 18-year-old girl, but an 8-year-old girl who was raped, right? So when they did her physical, they found 67 specimens inside this 8-year-old girl. And on top of that, the young girls that's crossing this border, they are giving them day after medic pills. You know, if after you get raped, the morning after you get raped. So they basically are telling you, get ready to get raped. See how Esau is? That's how Esau get down, man. He loves chaos. He loves it so much when he's bored, he creates chaos. And then pretends that he has nothing to do with it, then play the victim himself. This man is insane.
Places Title 42. That's a pandemic-era policy that expires at midnight tonight. Manuel Bojorquez is along the border for us in El Paso.
The crackdown in downtown El Paso has already begun. Law enforcement and city officials have been clearing out street encampments where thousands of migrant men, women, and children have had to sleep for days as nearby shelters like the Sacred Heart Church remain at capacity.
I
can't go back to where I came from because I could kill my son.
Gregorio Felipe fled Guatemala with his 5-year-old son Isidro. He said he was being extorted and was told if he didn't pay the money, they would kill him and his son. He had to leave his 3 other kids and wife behind. Border Patrol handed out flyers like this, urging migrants to check in at border processing centers or face arrest and other penalties.
They told us they were going to give us legal documents.
Many, like 23-year-old Aidele Gonzalez from Venezuela, heeded the warning and stood in line. She told us she was kidnapped by cartel members at the U.S.-Mexico border and held for 5 days.
It's going to be chaotic for a while.
While the Biden administration has been planning for the end of Title 42, states along the border bracing for a sudden increase in border crossings are taking action. Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott sent nearly 600 more National Guard troops to beef up the border. And in Arizona, Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs is sending millions of dollars to the southern border to support operations. Back here in El Paso, officials...
Now, how are they able to do all of this when they claim they're about to run out of money June 1st? See how their lives don't make sense?
Who are already struggling to house migrants in shelters are dealing with an influx of uncertainty.
And I'm scared just because of the sheer number of people that could potentially be involved.
You can see the encampment some migrants here are sleeping in. Later this morning, the Secretary of Homeland Security is set to inform the public about the Biden administration's new policies, including those asylum restrictions the ACLU says will be challenged in federal court. Gail?
See how they're trying to complicate things? It's simple. It's simple. I mean, we already had homeless people in major cities. Remember, tent cities? And now you go invite these people here to create bigger tent cities. What sense does that make? But these people claim they got your best interests at heart. Okay. Isaiah chapter 26, verse 10, let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness, he will deal unjustly and will not behold the mastery of the Lord. Daniel chapter 8, verse 25. And through his policy also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy men. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. This man is insane. You're going to create a bigger problem to get order out of chaos. But see, they're doing it. This is the only and quickest, most efficient way to them to get around what? The Bill of Rights, the U.S. Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence. All these documents, they stand in the way of Esau doing whatever he want to do. So, what he gonna do, what he planning is, he just gonna create total chaos and anarchy so he can bring in martial law. Not to mention, some of these people that's coming into this country might be UN troops in civilian clothes, which gonna be armed later, and Esau gonna sick them on the bucket because of what? Depopulation. All the chess pieces are in place. And this America that you know, it's about to disappear, and you about to become a citizen of a third world country. James 1:8, the double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. These people say one thing and do the total opposite. We running out of money June 1st, but hold up, we got billions for people that don't even live here, that's not even citizens here. What sense does that make? Yeah, we run out of money by June 1st, but we go into your bank account and take your money and send it to Ukraine. See? Psalm chapter 29, verse 12, the ruler hearkens the lies, all his servants are wicked. That's why he got all these mayors and governors on board. Even he's following orders of the elites. They want this country to implode on itself so they can come in with the answer, martial law, order out of chaos. Job chapter 15, verse 35, they conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth mischief. This is mischievous all day. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 16, woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child. Isaiah chapter 29, verse 15, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and that works on the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? They thinking they getting away with it. They think ain't nobody on to them. This created chaos, this created crisis. Who told you to invite all these people here? Just create a bigger crisis. See, Esau, he just messed up in the head like that. Like he getting away with stuff because he didn't got away with so much for so long. But see, the Lord got him in the trick bag. He got him right where he wanted. Prideful. Think he can't be defeated. Now I got another video real quick. This is Dabu 7. Let's get his take on the situation.
This is Dabu 7. And the chaos at the southern border here in America is going to a whole new level. as this Title 42 is gone, and we have droves of these people making their way to the border, trying to cross the border in many different areas. As you can see here, trying to cross a riverway and then trying to go up this hillside and go over this razor wire to make it into the United States. In this one spot, there are guards sitting there watching this location, but there are tons of other locations across the border that have no guards, have no security. People are walking right on in. This has been happening at an alarming rate. And now we're seeing these groups of Chinese come across the border too, groups of 5, fighting age men. They were being bussed into Texas left and right. And it was
Steve, Moabites coming in, Chinese. That's your Red Dawn scenario right there.
Biden himself that came out and said things are going to get chaotic or be chaotic for a while at the border. He basically come out and it finally admitted that there's been chaos at the border for some time. Now, under Trump, there was under 500,000 migrants trying to come into the country illegally his last year. Then, when Biden came in 2021, that jumped to 1.7 million. And in 2022, that jumped to 2.4 million. And there's already been 1.2 million encounters in 2023. We're not even halfway through the year. So a huge influx here. And remember, the Biden administration is taking these individuals and they are not shipping them out of the country. They're shipping them to the interior of the country. You've got to ask yourself why. I'm going to tell you, this is a setup. We've been sold out bigger than you can ever imagine. And we're getting invaded, a soft invasion right now. They just told us how Biden and his whole family was in cahoots with China with money in just one situation. This is a whole lot more to talk about in greater detail on the live stream. Make sure to join me then. Monday and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, Dabu777 on Rumble, on Kick. You'll find links below. Hit that subscribe button for more. Get ready, y'all. Much love.
$69 US.
There you go. Now, I was watching Redacted when they was talking about this, and they had a reporter down there on the border, and what he said was absolutely true. He said that they weaponize migration. That's what Esau does. He weaponizes everything he gets his hands on. He weaponizes the food, poison the water, weaponize that. He creates disease, weaponize that. Bioweapons. See what I'm saying? Biological warfare. Mechanical dogs, mechanical robots. He weaponizes everything. And that should tell you, if all he thinks about is weaponizing everything, all he thinks about is bringing forth death. So how you gonna believe him when he says that he cares about you? That's the dumbest thing you can do, trust your enemy. Book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusted, so is his wickedness. He just waxing worse and worse and worse in wickedness. Why? Because he's created to be the wicked. I don't understand why you 2/3 so-called black people and you Christians cannot see that. Job chapter 9, verse 24. Earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, not wherein whom we see. That's why all this is allowed. This is insane, but once again, you got insane people in rulership. I mean, just a genocidal race. That's their history, Edomites. Psalm chapter 52, verse 3. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness alone. Psalm chapter 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Job chapter 30, verse 8. They were the children of fools, yet children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Edomites in rulership. who don't know what the hell they doing, yet they insist on being in charge. They insist on not admitting that they don't know what they're doing. Why? Because they need you to trust every word that come out their lying ass mouth, because that's where their power lies. If they get you to believe them, they got you. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 28, for they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up in him is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Something wrong with this man's soul because he does not think rationally or logically. He's emotionally driven. Verse 5. Yeah, also he transgresses by wine. He is a proud man. Need to keep it at home. You know, other people country trying to tell them what to do. And one of the Indian nations called him out on it. Like he basically summed up and said that these westernized people, these people in the West, which you're talking about America, are always have been a genocidal race. They have no right to be judges. You have no right to come over here and try to tell us how to treat our people when your country is going to shit. Because obviously you don't even care about your people, but you care about us. No. Called him out. Now everybody trying to get away from Esau because they know he's a liar. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, that Satan should get an advantage of us. We're not ignorant of his devices. The Bible told us what you was going to do. The apostles and elders and the brothers on down told you what you was going to do. But yet you still deny it. That's a liar. Isaiah 10:1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness which they prescribe. They created this mess, but yet they're going to try to paint themselves as a hero when things get bad after they created this crisis, quote unquote. They call everything a crisis they created. Isaiah 5:20. Woe to them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, and bitter for sweet, sweet for bitter. They're trying to paint it as if it's a good thing. No. This thing has a trickle down effect. Eventually, these people gonna get hungry, and the government gonna just gonna drop them like a bad habit. You on your own, just like they did Eve with food stamps in Section 8. You on your own, and that's when the chaos is gonna start. These people gonna start robbing, breaking in houses, raping, murdering everything under the book. And here come Esau with the tanks after that. Now let's go to the apocalypse. We're gonna show you what the chaos gonna be like. Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 15 and 16. Hold on, let me get these glasses. I can't see. It's kind of dark. Let's get it. All right, chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draws nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Verse 16. But there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Let's keep going. Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Verse 18. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, their houses shall be destroyed, and their men shall be afraid. Keep going. Verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, spoil meaning robbing, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Keep going. This is chapter 16, verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Verse 71. And they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Now, who fears the Lord? The Israelites. Verse 72. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Verse 73. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. This is also known as Jacob's trouble. Let's see if we can get that real quick. Let me go to Google thing, the Bluetooth, the Google trick thing. All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 6, and we read on down. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man in his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness, fear. Verse 7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. That's talking about the elect, the ones that the Lord wants, not the 2/3, the Christians, and all you other people that's not holy, that's with this world. The Lord gonna turn Esau loose. So that's why we always emphasize y'all better get this truth now, because when the Lord take us off the streets, you ain't gonna know what's about to go on. So y'all playing, it's about to go down. Matter of fact, this might be the last normal summer, if it's gonna be normal. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 5. Thus said the Lord, cursed be the man that trusts in man and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord Yahweh. Trust Esau lying as you want to. First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. For when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with a child, and they shall not escape. Sirach, check this out. Sirach chapter 12, verse 7. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. He here to help you. Don't he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 29. The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery and have vexed the poor and needy. Yeah, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully. Y'all were trying to help somebody, but they end up being in a worse situation than when they started. Psalm chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. See, Esau ain't gonna give you nothing free. If he offering something free, he trying to use you, get you to do something. In this case, declare war on his own, the citizens of his own country. What kind of madman is this? Psalms chapter Psalms chapter 7, verse 14. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity, have covered, conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehood. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Y'all gonna learn. You're gonna wake up one morning and see a whole bunch of more bites coming up in your yard. You don't know what time it is. I think that's all I got on here. But yeah, man, y'all get ready because it's about to go down. All these extra people in the country, how you think things gonna stay normal? They're not. And it's gonna get real violent real quick. Get a couple more, we can close out. Because the Lord is exposing this man through his prophets, his servants. Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 10. I have made Esau bare, I have covered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, his neighbor, and he is not. Spoiled means robbed. Luke chapter 8, verse 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. This is the real letter, so this is Yahweh Shah speaking. We get this one and close. This is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more to mine? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? That's why it's obvious now that every move that Esau makes is just stupid and doesn't make sense, insane. The Lord took away his left hand of wisdom. Now everybody owns to him. See what I'm saying? He ain't as slick as he used to be. Matter of fact, speaking of moves that don't make sense, right now they discussing if China invades Taiwan, the United States gonna blow up their chip factory in Taiwan. How much sense that makes? So if China invades, the United States gonna attack. See, just making dumbass moves, man. And all they doing is turning these other nations against them faster and faster and faster. That's why it's prophesied that every other nation is gonna bomb this bitch. because of all this bullshit the United States is doing. Meddling in other people's affairs, trying to tell people not to do business with Russia and China. So you can continue to mess over. Yeah, these nations are beginning to hate the whore. And the whore is described in the Bible as the United States. That's why all of them, even their allies, are gonna turn on them and bomb this bitch. So you ain't got the head of the house covering you, you're going in that pot with the rest of the heathens and the rest of the wicked to be destroyed in the lake of fire. Nuclear fire. Call all you lala hanging out with your house by Shimmy Hawashai Mashiach Malaki by Shim Hawa Kakrash, Rock Thumb, Water Baba Baba, Kwam Yashua. Shalom.